I want to talk about one of the most confusing breakup situations people deal with now because of social media. Your ex likes some or all of your stories, watches everything or almost everything you post, likes old photos, maybe even sends memes or reels, but they still won't actually reach out in a significant way. So, no real conversation or consistency or follow through. And their attention makes you feel like they still care, but their actions never fully move things forward. How frustrating is that? And I recently had someone comment on my channel about this exact situation, and I think it perfectly explains why some people stay emotionally stuck after a breakup. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lucia. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. And if you're not new, you're part of my no contact army. Welcome back, everyone. So let's go through this comment. It says, what does it mean if they keep liking almost all of your Instagram stories, but not initiate a text or call after the breakup? And I responded with, probably trying to get you to reach out first. See, a lot of exes, they want connection without the vulnerability that would require. They want the reassurance without risking anything, and they want access to you without being the one to reach out. And social media makes this very easy because liking stories, watching your content, reacting to something is low risk. But actually reaching out, that's a completely different level emotionally. And then she followed up and said, is there any chance he might reach out himself? We broke up 2 weeks ago. And then a few days later, she gave an update and said he did text her. And the message was, how are you? Just wanted to check in. Yeah, check in. What's to check in? They're broken up. You don't check in with someone you're broken up with. That's just an excuse, as usual, to see if he has access. But this is where people immediately get hopeful because they think, oh, he misses me. She's coming back. The breakup was a mistake. And yes, sometimes that might happen, but that message was very low investment. That was a feeler because if and how you respond will let them know how you feel. And sometimes people respond to these messages so quickly that they accidentally remove all the emotional tension immediately. Now, suddenly the ex knows, okay, good, I still have access. They're still emotionally available. The door's still open. They haven't moved on. And sometimes, yes, that does lead to reconciliation, but most of the time it doesn't. It leads to emotional yo-yo behavior where the person enjoys the comfort of reconnecting, but they're not ready to get back together. And if you are in this situation or something similar and would like your ex back, you can contact me for private coaching at theartoflove.net/coaching, and we will send you the rates. They are not on the website, and the link to that is underneath every video and podcast. So she said they started talking again because she responded to that breadcrumb. He said he missed her, he wanted to see her, and since they live in different states, he asked her to fly out to him. Now, listen very carefully. Never, ever, ever fly out to see someone who dumped you. They can come to you. Now, obviously, after you're back together and all that, fine. But the first time seeing each other, no, they broke up with you. They can get on a plane and come to you. But you might say, oh, but they're working, but they can't come for a week or 2 weeks or a month. I don't care. Too bad. They're going to have to suffer the consequences of breaking up with you. And if they have to wait a month to see you, oh, well, that's what happens. But luckily, she responded with, well, let's talk first and plan a call. And that was a great answer because it required follow through and for him to move beyond fantasy and into reality. And that's exactly where his energy shifted. Because talking about seeing someone, it feels exciting, but follow through, that's a completely different thing. Because after agreeing to call her the next day, guess what? He disappeared. No call, no follow through. Now, before I tell you what happened next, I want to remind you that I have my app Silencio to help you stay in no contact. And the link to that is underneath every single video and podcast, as is the link to my book, No Contact Secrets, where you can read 2 free chapters before purchasing the book. Okay, so after not following through and calling as he said he would, he sent her an Instagram post. And then he continued liking all her stories, even an old photo from 2023. And this is the part that drives people crazy because social media attention, it feels emotionally significant, especially after a breakup, because your nervous system starts attaching meaning to every little thing. Oh, he watched my story right away. He liked an old picture. She's lurking. She's thinking about me. He misses me. And he probably is thinking about her. And the old photo, tells me that he was in a nostalgic emotional mood. But nostalgia is not the same thing as being ready and willing to get back together. And missing someone isn't the same thing as rebuilding a relationship. And attention is not the same thing as investment. So when she said, I'm really confused, I responded with, well, I'm not. You're playing yourself. And yes, that's blunt, but you know me, I'm blunt. Because I did not agree with her responding in the first place, especially because they had only been broken up for 2 weeks. And most exes are not ready to come back after 2 weeks unless it was a fake breakup. And usually it's not a fake breakup. Now, I didn't mean that she was stupid. What I meant was you're starting to ignore the actual behavior because you're emotionally hypnotized by the breadcrumbs. And this is where so many people get stuck after breakups because they overvalue passive engagement while undervaluing lack of follow through. And this is one of the biggest mistakes you could make because look at the facts. He knows how to contact her. He already opened the door emotionally. He already said he missed her. He asked to see her. He promised to call, and then nothing. Now, does this mean he'll never reach out again? No, of course not. In fact, I would be surprised if he didn't reach out again. But unless there's consistency, unless there's follow through, then all you're really dealing with is emotional reactivation without any emotional stability. And those are not the same thing. So if your ex is watching your stories, it may be for one or more of these reasons. One, they're curious because stories are low effort access. They get to check your life, your mood, whether you're moving on without risking rejection or any accountability. Two, they're keeping a psychological foothold. So by watching and especially liking, they stay present enough so you don't fully detach, but distant enough to avoid responsibility. So it's a way of having passive control over you, okay? Number three, they're regulating their emotions. Avoidants don't process through conversation. They monitor from a distance. So if your ex is an avoidant, then watching you lets them feel connected on their terms without the discomfort of real interaction. And then four, they're testing the door without knocking if they don't reach out like the ex of the girl in the comment did. So if you reach out, they win. They get reentry without having to do the hard part, which is owning the ghosting, apologizing, risking vulnerability, whatever. And one last thing to keep in mind is that there's a difference between an ex missing you and an ex being prepared to consistently invest in rebuilding the relationship. Those are not the same thing because a person can miss you, think about you constantly, feel nostalgic, feel lonely, even reach out emotionally, and still not be prepared for the accountability and consistency and effort and emotional responsibility that getting back together actually requires. People just want to get back together and sweep everything under the rug. And that is not the way to do it. You're setting yourself up for failure. I'm trying to set you up for success. I'm playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. So that's why you can't judge reconciliation potential only by emotional intensity. You have to look at consistency. So if your ex is liking your stories but not reaching out, then stop asking, what does this mean? And start asking, what are they actually doing? What are the actions they're actually taking? Because social media breadcrumbs can keep you emotionally trapped for a very long time if you confuse attention with intention. Okay, so now I want to hear from you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about anything I've said. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos or episodes. And in the meantime, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.